Hey, everybody.
We are back for leg 5. This should be somewhat interesting.
So I ran into a
bit
of a problem with this one.
bit of a problem with this one.
It wants me.
We're
in Canada now.
We're in Canada now.
In September Islands,
and
Quebec. I believe it is.
Yeah.
And it wants
us
to fly from September Isles up to. Oh gosh.
If I try to pronounce this one, I think I'm going to butcher it. Kuujjuaq in Canada, which is heading up north. Which is fine. I do have a SimBrief profile. It's loaded in there. Finds it on SimBrief. Even finds it on the
flight planner
app for the sim. But it does not find it within the sim. So that's a little problematic. We're gonna see how that goes. It's a fairly substantial flight for it to not work. Well, let's go around. As you can tell, it's a little chilly out here today. Let's get rid of the gear pins. Get these chocks out of the way. Pull the engine covers. Have a look around. So we flew the Black Square Duke turbine yesterday. And I'm not gonna lie, it is one of my favorite GA planes. But for some reason it just so very slow. And it wasn't. We had a good speed going on. So it was definitely not slow. Yeah. So I've opted for the Starship, which has always been kind of my go-to. With a lot of longer flights. I enjoy the fact that it feels old, but also retro modern sort of thing. Let's get the control locks out of the way. Let's get those where they need to be. Add a feather. All right. Things looking good. I'm going to gonna have to kill the mic on my computer here, because it'll pick me up and we'll have a lovely echo, which we do not want. Alright, let's just put that over here. So it actually works quite well there. Unrestrict. Payload. We'll get the cabin door closed up. Gets a little quieter in there. Alright. What do we got? 1893. I need more than that. Let's have a look. What did we plan for SimBrief? Block fuel 2973. Alright, we've got all that good stuff. We're going to get our external power. There it is. because I do want to run a few things here. We've got to kind of warm up the cabin a bit. As you can see, it's very chilly here in Quebec. So let's pull up our checklist. Parking brake is set, controllers remove, gears down, battery can come to the on position. Pitch roll, trim, we can set that. There we go. Fuel quantity, 1501, 1501. Oxygen pressure is good, 1850. Air store door annunciator is off, and battery can come back off. Alright, wheel checks removed, PO stacks removed, engine covers removed, gearlock pins are stowed, emergency exit secure, air store door is closed and locked. Perfect. Circuit breakers all down here, all over there. All these down here, and all those also. Good. Version 8 panel 1. I checked them all at the same time. 2 and 3. I get a CO test over there. So all 3 circuit breaker panels good. Seatbelts, shoulder harness, parking brake is set. Audio panel is as required. Yep. Static source is set to normal. Here. Oxygen supply we gotta pull on. Let's test the mass. This is the only time that positioning is not so great. Let's give this a test. Yeah. And where is it? Is the one hidden at the top? No. Beta. This one here. And let's move it out of the way. Mass checks. Ice protection is off, but we're going to need it on, that's for sure. Landing gear is down. Anti-skid switch. We can bring that on. It's kind of an important one. Central versioner is fine. Standby instruments can come on. Actually, we're going to do standby instruments. That's the one I want to come on. Batteries coming on. Is eliminated. Power levers are at idle. Prop levers can go full forward. Prop lever full forward. Condition levers and fuel cutoff. Bleed air is off. Yep. Temperature mode currently off. Battery can come back on. Triple feed bus. Give that external power because why not? So triple feed. 27.2, we need 22. Central bus. It's 28, we need 23. We can get our ICAS power on. Firewall, fuel valve switch. Annunciators go out and on, extinguished. Extinguished, closed, closed. We're going to get our standby pumps on. We got to get these out of the way. Just makes it a little easier. Standby pump 1, standby pump 2. And we're going to close them. Extinguishers off. Pressure lights come off. Standby pumps can go off. We don't really have to worry too much about the transfer. Perfect. Get the non-suitors for that. Avionics airfill message illuminated. That's on page... Oh, no, it's not. What did I miss here? I believe it's because our exterior power is connected. Okay. Fuel quantity is good. Oxygen pressure, 1850 is good. Cabin lights as required. Let's get our... Alright, it's 9. Okay, no smoking, seatbelts. Exterior lights is required. We're gonna get our lower strobe and anti-collision light on. Put our nav lights on as well. Alright, engine start. We're going to do external power start. A lot of the time I do battery start, but we're at an airport. It's nice and cold. We want to get the most volts out of our starters here. So battery volts, 20 volt minimum. Let's have a look. $28. Propellers. Propeller lever is in feather. ICAS off. Left gen is already off. Batteries on. External power connected. 28. External power switches on. ICAS can come back on. Right engine ignition. Okay, we're going to wait for just to power back up here. Okay. Right engine ignition on. Condition lever is going to go to start when we're at 12%. 8, 9, 10, 11. There's 12. Starts. ITT. Spike of 907. Okay. Oil pressure is climbing. Oil temperature is climbing. I believe ignition can go off at... Actually, ignition can already go off. Alright. And we can go full forward to run. And we're going to duplicate the same process on the left. Left ignition goes to on. %, on N1, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There's 12. Gonna watch the ITT is gonna spike up. We had 907 on the right. We got 915 on the left. Below 1,000. Condition lever and 1. Oil pressure's coming up. Oil temperature's coming up. And beyond, we can get ignitions to off. And condition lever can go to run. We can turn our steer ignition or power switch off. And disconnected. We're going to go right generator on, reset and on. There we go, 34 volts. We're going to go left, reset it on. And it's going to split the voltage usage. Perfect. Generators on. Gentie. Gentie is in normal. Gentie is open. Yep. And into normal. Gentie is closed. Prop levers can now move full forward. For taxi. Avionics switches can come on. Standby instruments already on. Bleeder valve can go to both. Blower temperature set. We're going to heat to auto. Lights is required. Your taxi and landing lights on. No, I want that off. And let's see here. Payload. Yep. We're going to disconnect the exterior power. Oh, that's not what I want to do. Reset our view here real quick. Lights is required. Cab lights on. No smoking's on. Instruments are operating. Flaps. Flaps are retracted. And here's alignment message. We're going to initialize the system. Alright, to get our message. Update VLF. Update VLF. And I believe we are good. No messages. No messages. Weather radar can be put into standby. That is radar controls. Currently in standby. Brakes and release. Okay. Takeoff. Full. We're going to do an abbreviated takeoff just because the full is rather time consuming. Okay. Rudder pedals are good. Park brake is released. Brakes are holding. Now, let's get some windshield heat on. Stall. Get all these on. Cable heating can come on. And all of the auto ice features are currently on. Good stuff. And then Cedar's supposed to test. Where's that one? Alright. Down there. For some reason I was looking up at the top, which isn't over there. Let's see our test. It's going to display all the cautions everywhere. Okay. Surface DSSS, pressurization set. I believe our flight plan has us flying for 37,000. So we're going to dial that in. And we're also going to see which one. That'll do. Alright. 30. 5. So right about there, I do believe. Normal. It's 10 o'clock position. And cabin attitude control. Alright, avionics are checked. P don't overheat. Warning message. We can get those off just for the time being. Autopilot. AP. We can engage. And press or disconnect. Press it again. Control set for takeoff. What's up? I'm not going to worry about the roll trim right now. Flaps as desired. Flight controls free and clear. All good. Standby altimeter is set. Flight and engines check. Okay, cool. Pre-flight is done. Before takeoff, stall warning heat. That can all come back on. Edge and ice protection is required. Should be alright. Get this on. Cable heat on. Bleeds both. Transponder can come to on. It's been a minute since I've been in here. It's IDX, right? Nope. Calm. Transponder at standby. There it is. And why can I not remember how to do this one? There we go. Enunciators consider. We've got nothing. External lights already on. Cockpit lights good. Windshield heat is in low. Engine ignitions can go as required. I like the auto ignition on. Generator loads check. They're good. Petrol trim is good. Takeoff. Alright. Well, we've got everything kind of set up here. This flight, because of the routing and the fact that we're flying to an airport that is not indicated in the sim, kind of makes it interesting. So we're going to do this one without ATC. Alright, so brakes are released. And we're just going to roll on idle power here. head for runway 09. Get those heats off. We'll check them again when we get to the runway here. Alright, hold short. Let's get those back on. Auto feather can come on. We're going to ignore that pitot overheat currently, just due to the fact that we are entering the runway. And we're going to use every bit of this runway that we can. Alright, brakes are held, takeoff power 100%. Close enough. AFX enabled. Brakes are released. V speeds rotate. We're at about 92. A little bit of back pressure. And she's up. Landing gear's up. Taxi and landing lights are off. Power back. Get a good climb going. Landing gear's up, flaps are up. We're in a climb. Yaw dampener. It's down. I believe it's that one. Let's get those flaps up. That was my mistake. They were not indeed up. Flaps in transit. Autopilot in. We're going to get our nav. We're going to get our HSI. Hang on here. Nav source is going to be FMS1. There we go. Stick shaker due to stall. And let's get our autopilot back on here. Nav. And we're actually going to IC profile. There we go. Alright, yaw dampener's on. Climb power is 89%. Close enough to 90 for me. Propeller sync can go on. Auto feather can come off. And displays monitor. Cab pressurization. Looking good, it's coming up. Smoking seatbelts, lights is required. Let's get some wing lights on. Go. She goes. And there is no FADEC management in a Starship. So we have to maintain the power, the throttles, and everything else correctly. Yaw dampener looks to be off. Is it? No, it is. Let's get that back on. There we go. Alright, so we're going for flight level 370. Actually, we should have... Auto feather should remain on. Because I believe we're only going to disable that. Yeah, and cruise. That was my mistake. Like I said, it's been a minute since I've been flying the Starship, but it is a fun one. I do really enjoy this particular aircraft. A lot of it having to do with just the age, I guess. So let's FMS source. So we're not running off of the. I guess it's a GTN 430, I believe. Yeah, 430, I believe it is. We do have the ability in the Starships to do it, but when these were made, the GPS did not exist. It was not a thing. Flight plan. VNAV, we're good. ComNav, ADF. Can't remember what it is I'm looking for here. Guess we can get our weather radar on. Let's get our weather and turbulence. Ground mapping, which isn't really important currently. Present position map. We're going to display. So we're heading towards our intercept of our course, which is going to bring us slightly to the right. And we can set our barrel to standard. So we're above 18,000. Oh, we're going to push to standard. Keep them both set up anyway. Alright. 83. Let's get a bit more. Maybe feed a bit more in here. But we have to watch ITT, so we're going to run into peak ITT up here, which means we will still have to keep the power back ever so slightly. So I just gotta wiggle those levers a little. Cruise power 97%, torque, or 840 ITT. So we're not gonna get 97% torque. Not currently. But we are doing a rocket ship climb, that's for sure. We've got no icing currently detected, so we're gonna we will get our engine anti-ice off. Which then we'll see a spike up in our torque levels because we're no longer using some of the exhaust pressures to basically heat the engine inlets. Should drop down just a little. It's so hard to get that just perfect. There's 840. 839, 840, that'll do. So what have we got to climb right now of set to 700, but we're climbing at roughly 1,600 feet a minute, 1,700 feet a minute. It's pretty impressive. And that is with the Starship managing the climb profile. So this doesn't have a like a VNAV type system in it. Because again, that type of stuff was a little beyond the times when this machine was built. But it does have a very sophisticated ascent and descent profile system built into it. Takes into account a lot of sensor information and tries to make the most appropriate climb. And above certain flight levels, it'll actually drop the climb speed down, rather than just a vertical speed As if you were to try to aim for a vertical speed, we could maintain an easy 700 feet a minute. But this way, it's managing itself. It's got its own profile set. Climbing at 152 knots indicated, or sorry, true. 100 knots indicated. So as we climb higher, keep pulling back on that power a little bit here, a little bit there. Trying to keep it right around that 840. Actually, let's see, can I do this? Where was it again? This one here. Message, VNav, no. Trip planning. No. For the life of me, is it in the tablet? Did we do some engine damage? We did not. That's good. Let's get that in there. All right. So this does have, oops, 851, gotta pull that back. Archmac bearing, nav source, radar control, light plan. System. No. Fuel management, trip planning. I could have sworn that there was a way to import from Zimbrief on the Starship. Alright. Still climbing. 176 true. We've got the YWK. Get that blower going in here. Alright, we're approaching our cruising altitude, 37,000 feet. Flight level 370. So what I remember, again, from doing like a sim brief import would be from using the PMS 50 pop-out. So we're going to be approaching 37,000 feet, which means we're going to start leveling off. And always something I forget. We can throw some A&R on. A little nicer on the ears. defrost. Oxygen. Co-pilot air pull on. Cabin temps 14. Alright, we're cruising 37,000. Let's bring that power up a little. Keep it just under the 840 max. Gotta make an adjustment and wait. There's 840. There we go. Good enough, good enough. Alright. Let's get our cruise power. Auto feather can come off. License required in display fuel quantity. Fuel quantity is a little hard to see currently. What do we got? Nope. Nope. Little pins there. 1240, 1240. Okay. Happy days. Descent. Let's get our VNav. Target. Altitude. This airport. It'd be, say, 1131 feet. We're going to 1200. Try that again. Okay, maybe not. Let's go to flight plan. Destination. One thing we can do is open up our QMS 50. This is on-screen GTN 750, which is available for a lot of the PC guys, and it is now available for the pick up a tailwind. so let's have a look at our flight plan. Menu, import from SimBrief. That's the one. And it doesn't have, it also doesn't recognize that position. Okay, so let's try this again. We're going to import it from ATC this time. Alright. Utilities, VNAV calculator. Target altitude, we'll do, okay. $1,500 feet. $179 indicated 310 true. What are we doing across the ground? 316 across the ground. It's pretty quick. It's pretty quick. So for descent, we're using the GTN 750. Our target altitude of 1,500 feet, setting at 500 feet a minute to reach this waypoint at 1,500 feet is going to tell us to start our descent in roughly 3 minutes. And when we hit that when it hits 0 minute mark, we should see a VS requirement of roughly 500 feet a minute. But I'm just going to run and use the lav, and I will be right back. All right, sorry, the lav's right at the back of the plane. There we go. All right. So we're gonna do a 500 feet a minute descent, right? Adjust it right here. This little marker. And then when we do get the notification in roughly 60 seconds time, we can hit the vertical speed button. Approaching top of descent. And let's begin our descent. Go. And we're going to power back. Should be able to descend at a fairly substantial speed. It'll be a very shallow descent, but we want to keep below the overspeed marker, which is, looks like we're just under 200 knots. That's right, and we're gonna reset our altitude here. We're gonna go for 1,500 feet. Let's hit that again here. Go. And there's our ring. So that's letting us know 500 feet a minute is going to put us right around our so that should work quite well. Let's bring up our descent. Pressurization is going to slowly come down. Once we break through 18,000 feet, we'll have to do that. No smoking power lights is required. But we are coming down. So spend about half the flight getting up and half the flight getting down. But the neat thing is, climbing up and then descending like this, we're actually going to pick up a lot of speed, or be able to descend very quickly. I'm going to get rid of that. Oh, okay. It'll stabilize in a moment. Clear that master caution for the cabin depressurization. And normally with a flight like this, you'd have ATC and all that fun stuff, but due to flying to an airport that doesn't exist, it's a little difficult. Minus 61 C outside. Engine's looking happy. Electrical system's looking good. I don't know why it's not showing my passenger. Show co-pilot from inside. But she's not there. She's invisible. Cabin temp low, yeah. If I knew how to fix that. But unfortunately, I have no clue. But I do know we're picking up some speed, that's for sure. And get my co-pilot here, right, Bachi? Hmm? All right. Not quite sure how to... Everything's open. No idea how to increase the temperature. Let's have a look on the outside here. Got a few photos for the thumbnail. Three and 30 knots. We can actually feed a bit of power into if you wanted. Roughly 52 minutes left in the descent to our target altitude. You're your good boy. Yeah. Closing up that distance pretty good. 331 ground speed, 332 airspeed. 20 knot crossing. It's too bad we don't have a 20 knot tailwind. Throw the yokes back up here. Let's have a look. MS1. Trip, we're at 5323 for the trip. So right now, we're doing the descent. Sensors, system control. Fuel management. ETA 2054 Zulu. Under 50 minutes, 46 to be exact. Ground speed 332, 327. Okay. Progress. So this airport may be a little on the difficult side to find. There we go, cabins will open up. And we're just cruising along. Right. All right. Looks like it's some beautiful weather out this way, at least. Still got a ways to go. And we're still in 500-foot descent, 500 feet a minute. This way we're not bombing down when we get close. I also want to get kind of a lay of the land when I get there. As according to the sim, this airport does not exist, but according to its flight planner and sim brief, it does. So the I don't know which one's correct. We're going to find out. We may very well be coming in and landing at an airport that there's no airport. And at that point, we will have to we'll have to figure it out from there, I guess. But we may have to find another airport somewhat locally to that. Why don't we have a look at that now, actually? So, we're just gonna CYVP. Okay, let's have a look at our flight plan again. 1 C Y V P. Enter. Uh, 58. 05. And 06825 6. YVP, let's try that as well. YVP. Enter. Okay. So we're going to delete that waypoint. We're going to delete this waypoint. We're going to no change. We're going to go direct to YVP, direct to. Okay. So flight plan. So direct to YVP, 35 minutes. So I guess we're going to see. So it seems as though there is a VOR marginal VFR. All right. .328 across the ground. Making good time. Zero, zero. So it's giving me a target of 535. We're doing 5 to do 1200. So let's try 1500 instead, see what it comes up with. 527. Yeah, so it'll get us there. It's amazing what you forget after you have not been flying a plane for a while. Let's get the Aviation Explorer on. 40-degree temp. Give it some of the 20-degree air. That should cool it down a bit. So this is one of the things that this particular aircraft kind of struggled with. All glass cockpit, all these CRT screens produce a lot of heat. You got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16 CRTs in here. That's a lot. So it's a lot of heat, and that's why you've got the front avionics bay, which is, if you could open up the nose compartment, would house your weather radar, would house some other computers and things like that. And then you've got the instrument panel section. So basically from the firewall to the back of this paneling, the beige paneling, and in there gets real good and hot, 40 degrees C. So if we share some of the cabin air, which is only at 21, comparatively very cool, it helps to bring down the temperature back there. And if you have too much temperature back there, well, you end up with this lovely situation where the screens overheat and they go black. I have done that. When I first got the Starship, I was doing some flying in Africa. It just ended up being a random selected place that I clicked on the map, and I definitely had the yeah, set the altimeter 988. Interesting. There we go. I had the screens all go black, and then you were literally flying on these three instruments right here: altimeter, airspeed, and a situational awareness gauge. That's really hard to see. So you get your artificial horizon, your bank angle, stuff like that, and you don't have any way to measure slip. In a real aircraft, at least you can feel that, whereas in sim you can't, but that's all right. So 251 indicated, 314 true, 327 across the ground, 29 minutes to destination. There we go. So cabin temp him to bring it down from 40C to 34C. And it will slowly continue to come down a little bit more, I believe. But not a lot. And my fuzzy co-pilot, I think he's having a dream, which is pretty adorable. he's at the stage where he likes to turn us into chew toys, which so much fun. I've got countless scrapes and scratches all down my arms, most of which are actually from, I guess he's got a pretty vicious little dew claw that we have, or that I've tried to trim from time to time. It has been trying. He doesn't like the nail clippers very much, but something I guess we got to get him accustomed to. Same thing, like he hates having baths. I always thought dogs loved the water, but try to do the whole, hop in the shower, and I get in there in a bathing suit and scrub him down, but he really doesn't like that. But he's got to stay clean, so he'll have to get used to it, I suppose. All right, so we just broke 147.1 to our destination, which we've defined in our system, CYVP, given its coordinates, which is kind of neat that you can do in the Starship. Because of the lack of GPS, it had a whole bunch of systems that allowed you to navigate anywhere in the world, pre-GPS. So you can fly kind of anywhere. If you can get longitude and latitude, you can do that. You can use the Omega system, VORs, DMEs. It's really cool. Kind of ahead of its time. Nowadays, flying not on GPS is almost a impossibility for many. I know when I was flying in the little 172s and whatnot, they did have GTN 430s in them. Nothing great. Or maybe it was a 530. I don't remember if it's big or small. But for most of my training, we didn't even really acknowledge its existence. Only until we started doing IFR stuff did we really kind of step into the realm of GPS and approaches and GPS navigation. Whereas everything that you're going to learn in your PPL, aside from just the very basics, kind of stuff to get you out of a tough spot if something were to happen, it's all going to be visual. So you're staring out the window for your for the majority of your flight, which is a good thing. And I think it's really neat that we get to fly the Starship, and that it's modeled so very well. I've mentioned it in previous streams, but I'm still reading. I haven't finished it yet. A book about a guy who spent 2 years flying around the world in a Starship. Right now, he has just gone from... Where was he at? Went from Australia. He went up Australia. I think he was in China. He went through into Russia, and in Russia he had a gear failure. I believe it was the nose gear was not indicating down, but had that repaired. And Russia, now he's heading towards, or he was, I think the last chapter I read, he was in London. He flew into London, met some friends of his, and did some exploring out there. And he did this round the world trip over 2 years, compared to some of the other people that it seems to be almost just get the plane and fly as much as you can, as quick as you can. He kind of treated it more as, yes, it's aviation and he enjoys it, but he also wanted to enjoy the freedoms that it brought people. Being able to fly a plane isn't just about the plane part. It's kind of the exploring part, where you get to go and see places that maybe you'd never otherwise get to see. Turns short trips or turns long trips into short ones. You know, going and visiting, for instance, my in-laws. To get to their place, it's 4.5, 5 hours worth of traveling time and everything else. Via plane, it's roughly half an hour. And that's being generous. That's, you know, half an hour in something like a Cessna 210. So I probably wouldn't do it in a 172 just because that's full seats, and my kids aren't huge or anything, but you know, one's 12 and one's 8. But you know, I just don't like the idea. It's kind of a 4 seats and half tanks type plane, which doesn't give you a heck of a lot of range. It could be done, but I think a 210 would be a better achievable plane for most. 185 or 182 also would fit the bill. Just be able to handle the additional weight a little better. Or if you're real lucky, you have something like a TBM, or I'm really looking forward to the Epic E1000 from Lionheart, and I confirmed by a DM, actually asked about a week ago, and I heard back yesterday that they're attempting, no promises of course, but attempting to model the E1000 AX model, which is the newest iteration of the Epic E1000. And the difference between the GX and the AX is some automation. Things like having auto throttle. And it does have return to land autopilot system from Garmin. So in the event that, you know, pilot incapacitation, push a button, plane lands itself. That's pretty cool. But I think that's a pretty amazing plane. All composite. I think it's the first GA aircraft certified with Starlink. It's got weather pod. It's got a G1000 avionics instead of a G3000 like you'd have in the TBM. And it is just bonkers fast. I also believe it is certified for soft field operations. So, you know, on that, not necessarily soft, but things like grass and gravel and packed dirt, stuff like that, where stuff like the TBM, because of its enormous prop and lack of ground clearance, makes it not a great candidate for that. You can run into a pretty nasty situation really quickly in a very expensive aircraft. So that might be something you want to avoid. There we go. Pressurization set for destination altitude. Cabin temperature is good. Avionics bay is good. Instrument bay is looking good as well. Temps and pressures all looking good. Fuel flow roughly 1050 aside. We've got 890, 867. Plenty of fuel if we need to divert. Oh, we're picking up some speed that we don't want here. It's going to be that tailwind we're seeing. We'll pull back on that power. So we're doing the 500 feet a minute. CSS for 1200. 478. That works. It'll get us close enough anyway. We're gonna have to do some overflying of the airport itself. because the airport doesn't exist. It does. Even in the EFB, you can see it. So your previous runways. That one looks like dirt. So I think we'll avoid the dirt runway. .07. Alright, so in the flight planning app, it's recommending 07. It's a 6,000 foot asphalt runway, according to this. Overcast 1900. It's currently indicating VFR, which is good. 7 knot headwind, 6 knot crosswind. Yeah, so runways 13 and 31 are gravel. 5,000 foot runways. 07 and 25 are asphalt. 07 is now indicating a 9 knot head and 2 knot crosswind, which should be easy enough. So a little ways to go. What do we got distance-wise? 88 nautical miles. Cut back on the power a bit. There we go. Instrument panel down to 28C. Avionics is at 24. Cabin's 21. Cabin's set at 21, which is good. Roughly 65% torque, doing 242, indicated 260 true, 276 across the ground. That's pretty darn good. Only downside is that's burning 720 liters of fuel, or pounds of fuel, I should say, not liters, an hour. All right. Starting to see some better scenery from here. The Arctic part of Canada. Just fields of cold. So, funny enough, yesterday, I think it was yesterday, I saw my first animal on a runway. I was coming into land, and poof, there it was. I'd never seen anything on the runway. Actually, that might be the first time in sim that I have seen any animal of any kind. So, yeah, that was neat. $68 nautical miles. $6,000-foot runway. It's plenty to land on. As long as it's an actual runway. That's what I was looking for earlier. I heard that apparently in Arizona there was a police helicopter that crashed during a response to a shooting event. But I didn't see a lot with respect to the actual, like, did they shoot at the helicopter and it went down? 2 occupants were killed while providing air support during an active shooter event. 2 Arizona Department of Public Safety crew members died Wednesday night when a Ranger helicopter crashed near Flagstaff while supporting law enforcement responding to an active shooting, authorities said. The police helicopter was providing tactical air support to Flagstaff Police Department officers and other agencies when it went down, killing the pilot and a trooper paramedic who were the only people on board. Police said the officers have been involved in a shooting with a suspect prior in the crash. Hang on. Officers and other agencies when it went down, killing the pilot and trooper/paramedic, who were the only people on board. Police said officers had been involved in a shooting with the suspect prior to the crash. The crash occurred west of downtown Flagstaff. The cause has not been determined. Identities of those involved have not been released as of Thursday morning. The Arizona Department of Public Safety is leading the investigation into the shooting, while the Federal Aviation Administration and National Transportation Safety Board are participating in the investigation of the helicopter crash. Area resident Amanda Brewer said she heard multiple gunshots before and after the police helicopter arrived overhead. You could hear the blades going, Brewer said. Then there was a large crash. It shook the house. It was startling. Authorities said no injuries were reported, and the suspect was taken into custody following the incident. Yeah, that's sad. Cool. Garmin released a new height advisory device. So giving aircraft an ability to know its height above ground. Oh, an FAA inspector got banned from an airline. FAA inspector sues United after being removed from flight. An inspector's filing seeks millions in damages and the reversal of a lifetime travel ban from the airline. Federal Aviation Safety Inspector Paul Asmus filed a civil lawsuit against United Airlines after he was removed from a flight and was later barred from traveling with the carrier. The complaint filed January 30th in U.S. District Court in California stems from a May 2022 flight departing San Francisco and seeks millions in monetary damages and court-ordered relief. According to the complainant, Asmus was traveling on a personal ticket when he noticed a torn seat back pocket at his assigned seat. He said the damage affected the ability to properly store and access the passenger safety briefing card, which regulations required to be available at each seat. The filing also states he observed a passenger standing in the aisle during pushback. The inspector documented the conditions using his phone and raised them with the cabin crew as potential safety discrepancies. The complaint says the interaction escalated after flight attendants objected to his actions, questioning his documentation and expressing concern about interference with their duties and photography in the cabin. According to the lawsuit, the captain was informed of the situation and conveyed that the aircraft could return to the gate if the issue was not resolved. The filing states the captain asked to see the more recent image on the inspector's phone, which the inspector displayed and which he said showed only the seat condition. Despite this, the aircraft taxied back to the gate and the inspector was removed from the flight. Crew reports cited disruptive behavior along with a separate reference to a disagreement involving a seat assignment, which the filing says was later resolved and refunded. Go figure. An FAA inspector who thinks they're special. Alright. Radar altimeter showing 2,100 feet. Maybe what we're going to do level at 3,000. Sun setting over there. It's getting a little bumpier. Let's keep the speed up. There's some bumps, that's for sure. Alright, well, we basically descended, so let's have a look at our normal procedures. And, no, skipped over that. Before landing, we're going to do normal descent. It's all good. Oh, before landing. So right now, 27 nautical miles. See where this gets us to. Bit of a rolling hill situation with the ground below us. Got all of the trees that just kind of populate in. Turns out the FAA investigators very, very peeved. This is one I kept wanting to read. From Aero Explorer. Calgary, a WestJet Boeing 737 aborted high-speed takeoff after pilot seat shifts fully backwards. Safety inspectors have detailed a harrowing incident in which a WestJet Boeing 737-700 registration Charlie Foxtrot Whiskey Sierra Victor was forced to execute a high-speed rejection takeoff RTO. Ten nautical miles. Let's see if there is... Okay, so there is some sort of marker. Whether that's mine or not, I'm not sure. So what do we see from here? I believe this is the runway I want to land on. Right there. We'll see, I guess. So, get our autopilot off. Adjust the trim because it's going to try to kill me. Power back. Auto feather. Arm. Propeller sync is off. That's where it wants me to land. And that is supposed to be paved. Okay, well, we're gonna try. We are going to try. Side here. Let's get some, burn off some speed. Let's get our landing gear down. That was frightening. It engaged beta. Should have been locked out, but okay. Let's get our flaps. Auto feathers off. Taxi lights and landing lights. Autopilot's disengaged. Pro 6. Let's get our radar. Standby. Oh, no, other way. That was dumb. That's okay. Alright, well, I don't know if we're going to call it a runway, but I have something in sight. Precision height. We're going to go for it, I guess. You can even see the markers now that we're down here. We're going to use beta. All right. Well, we didn't die. We're taxiing over to the tower. And we're gonna park right over here. There we go. Okay. Okay. After landing, let's get stall pitot. That's normal. Transponder. Standby. Lights. Taxi and landing can go off. Trim. It's already set. Let's have a look at the overhead. Wing nav. Not caps. There we go. Trim is set. Flaps are retracted. Perfect. Shut down. Parking brake is set. Oxygen supply. Oops. Oxygen supply. Engine ice protection is off. Windshield heat is off. Pitot off. Standby instruments off. Bleed air valve off. Heat off. Battery is charged. Stabilize for 1 minute. Condition levers, fuel cut off. Propeller feathered. ITT monitor for fuel cut off, yeah. Gen off. Battery off. ICAS. Off. Off. Go. Control locks installed. Let's go to payload. Let's get our cabin door open. Gear pins. Let's get all the lovelies installed. And let's put the tablet away. And we're going to hop on out here. Close up the door. We are here in the middle of nowhere in our Beechcraft Starship, the plane that probably makes the least sense to be in such a remote place, but it's here. And we've managed to get it here and do fairly all right. Perfect. Well, that ends our flight to, well, here. Our next one, let's have a look here. What's our next flight going to be? We're going to be going from yeah, apparently this flight airport does not exist. It can be downloaded. Well, obviously it exists to some degree, but it's not modeled in the sim. So the next flight, we're going from this airport to CYFB. CYFB is Equilate in Nunavut. So we're flying further up. That airport does exist. Looks like 2 runways, 8,500 feet each. So we'll be able to take the Starship out of there if we choose to. Looks like take pretty much anything in and out of there. So we'll figure out what the next one's going to be. This is leg 5, so that'll be leg 6. All right, well, thanks for everybody who joined in, and I hope you enjoyed the flight and the, the aviation news, as it were. And we will catch you guys next time.